This episode is brought to you by Sterling Soap Company. How often do you think about your soap? Well, if you answered, not much, maybe you should. You see, a lot of what passes for soap in stores is technically not soap, according to the FDA's definition. It's full of lab-created chemicals and detergents because, well, it's cheaper to make. Now, what if you could buy natural soap made from natural ingredients like tallow, palm oil, coconut oil, and scented with essential oils, and for just a little more than you'd pay for grocery store soap? Sterling Soap is 100% natural, and with a wide variety of bath soaps, shave soaps, beard balm, lotions, and cologne, there's a product and a scent for just about everybody. Check them out for yourself at sterlingsoap.com. That's STIRLING soap.com.
What's up, sports history fan? Dana Augusta here of the Historically Speaking Sports Podcast. Ever wish you can get behind-the-scenes access to the Hockey Hall of Fame and dive into the untold stories that shaped the game? Then you need to check out Hockey Hall of Fame True Stories Part 2 by Eric Zweig. Eric's latest book is packed with wild, unexpected tales from epic rivalries and game-changing moments to quirky incidents like polo injuries and snowblower mishaps. Eric Zweig's impeccable research and passion for the sport of hockey will whisk you through the NHL's early years, the origins of the Three Stars tradition, and how hockey first hit the airwaves. Plus, you get fresh takes on legends like Wayne Gretzky, Bobby Hall, and Joe Sakic. Hockey Hall of Fame True Stories 2 is available now wherever you get your books. Grab your copy and get ready to dive deep into the heart of the game.
This is Basketball History 101 with Rick Loayza.
Welcome back to Award-winning Basketball History 101, part of the Sports History Network. I am your host, Rick Loayza, and this is the podcast where we bring to life some of the forgotten stories from basketball history. We are bringing old school basketball to a new school audience. And today we bring you the story of the first guy who was a full-time scout in the NBA, and that man was Bill Bertka. This story is a bit of a personal one, as I am a die-hard Lakers fan, and I've mentioned that before. I always have been growing up in Southern California during the Magic Johnson Showtime era. It was very easy to jump on the purple and gold bandwagon, and the love runs deep. The walls of the studio where I record these episodes are covered in Lakers memorabilia and are painted purple and gold. I love the Lakers, and I have a deep respect and admiration for every person who contributed to one of their many championships. And the man that I'm going to talk about today has contributed to 10 Lakers championships. That's right, 10 championships. There are not a lot of people in the NBA who have 10 rings or more, but this guy is one of them. I'm talking about the beloved Bill Bertka. He has held nearly every job that you can imagine in basketball. He has coached high school, college, and professional teams. He has been a scout, an assistant coach, a head coach, a general manager, a consultant, and an executive. He is 97 years old, and he still works for the Lakers to this day. He is a walking encyclopedia of NBA history, and he is one of the most joyful men you could ever meet. Bertka shares something with current Laker LeBron James. They were both born in Akron, Ohio, even if it was 60 years apart. Bertka was born in 1927 in Santa Barbara, California, but his family soon left for Ohio, where his father was reassigned to the headquarters of Firestone Tire and Rubber Company. In the Midwest, Bertka became familiar with the Akron YMCA, where he fell in love with the game of basketball. He was one of the stars of the Bucktail High School team, where the team won many Akron City championships, particularly in 1945. Normally, this is where a top high school player would then go off to a university to continue his studies and his basketball career. But not Bertka. He went directly into the U.S. Army, where he was assigned to help rebuild the communication network in Salzburg, Austria, in the aftermath of World War II. After 2 years in the military, it was time to go to college. He was a 20-year-old freshman when he enrolled at Kent State University in Ohio, and there he played on the basketball team, which was a Division I team, the top level of American university sports. Now, he did well at Kent State, but he wasn't exactly Bob Cousy either. So after graduation, he had to get a regular job, and of course, What job could be better for a basketball addict than to become the head coach at Kent High School, just a stone's throw away from Kent State University? After only a year at the high school, he decided that he no longer wanted to live in Ohio. He thought to himself that life is too short to live in the extremely cold winters of Ohio. He decided that he wanted to live in a place where other people would go on vacation or holiday. He went to Midland School in Santa Barbara County on the central coast of California. After just 2 years, he moved up to coaching Hancock Community College, which is a 2-year school. There, he did something wonderful by leading the team to a 41-game winning streak. With that, he put himself on the coaching map. At the young age of 30, he was hired to be the head coach of his alma mater, Kent State University. But after only 4 years and a mediocre record, he remembered why he left Ohio in the first place. He left coaching altogether in 1961 and returned to Santa Barbara and took the job as the director of Parks and Recreation for the city of Santa Barbara. He was much happier on the West Coast where it was warm all year long, but he did not completely give up basketball. He could never do that because he loved the game too much. So he created his own business on the side called Bertka Views, which was a college scouting service. Using his relationships and connections in university basketball, he put together a network of scouts and coaches that would feed him information on every university player that they could witness. He was so good at putting together files on all of the significant players coming out of college each year that he caught the attention of the NBA. The Lakers became one of his biggest clients. The information that Bertka provided them was invaluable in evaluating college players. Remember, this was the 1960s. Unlike today, you could not just go to YouTube and watch the highlights of any player in the country. Unless you were able to see someone play in person, it was virtually impossible to get any good information on any player. But Bertka was the one who filled this gap. Through his network, he amassed tons of information on all of the top players. But the Lakers knew that Bertka was providing the same information to every other NBA team who was willing to pay for his services. So the Lakers wanted to lock him up because he was so valuable to them. They hired Bertka full-time in 1968 and made him the first full-time scout in NBA history. Now, he worked only for the Lakers and provided them with a wealth of information on all of the best players in college and even put together files on all of the other players in the NBA so that the Lakers could make their best decision when coming to trades and free agent signings. Bertka became the 1960s version of Google for every significant player in the country, both college and professional. But then Bill Sharman was hired as the Lakers' new head coach in 1971, and he made Bertka an assistant coach, and that would allow Bertka to work directly with the players, which Bertka always loved. In addition to these duties, Bertka also helped push forward the use of film to scout opponents. The Milwaukee Bucks were the first to use film, but Bertka quickly took the idea and pushed it to new levels. He also started doing advanced scouting, which is the idea of sending someone to watch the next opponent play and then file a complete report. And here is what I mean. Let's say it's a Tuesday night and the Lakers know that they are going to play their next home game on Friday against the Warriors. Well, Bertka or someone else will travel to watch the Warriors play on Wednesday night and then file a full report on the Warriors' substitution patterns, tendencies, out-of-bounds plays, team chemistry, strengths, weaknesses, etc. Then, when the Lakers get ready to play their game against the Warriors at Friday, they would already have an entire file of information on the Warriors that they could use to help win the game. Now today, this is standard practice all over the NBA, but Bertka is the one that got that started. Every team now has a group whose sole purpose is to monitor, scout, track, and report on every player and coach on the other 29 teams. The NBA even provides every team with full access to every single game that they have recorded in history. So a player like Steph Curry can go back to a specific game from a year ago or 10 years ago and simply pull up the game on a tablet computer and watch it. And Bertka was a man that started all of this study. But let's get back to the man that we're talking about. He was an assistant on the Lakers and then got an offer that he could not refuse. And we will be right back with that new opportunity.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Welcome back to the show, and let us continue our story on the amazing Bill Bertka. Before the break, Bertka was working as a scout and assistant coach for the Lakers, but then a neighbor and friend of his became a part owner of the brand new New Orleans Jazz and asked Bertka to become the general manager of the Jazz and help run that team. And he accepted the job, but that meant commuting between Santa Barbara and New Orleans because his wife and kids stayed in Santa Barbara. Bertka hired his former player, Elgin Baylor, to be the head coach of the Jazz. Unfortunately, things did not really work out that well. After 6 years, he was offered an opportunity to come back to the Lakers and rejoin the coaching staff, and he jumped at the chance to move back to California. He became an assistant coach under Pat Riley and helped develop the concepts of the fast break that the Lakers used to incredible efficiency. Of course, Magic Johnson was the key to the Lakers' fast break, but Bertka took it on himself to coach the other players and helping them understand exactly what Magic was doing so that they could be in the perfect spot to receive a no-look pass for an easy layup or dunk. Because lots of NBA players that came to the Lakers had to adjust to the Lakers style of fast break. Each fast break brought with it multiple options based on what the defense was doing. They did not all immediately understand the nuances, and that is saying something because these were professional players, and that is where Bertka helped fill in the knowledge gap for these new players. Essentially, running a fast break with the Lakers back then was different than running a fast break with any other team. But this is the part that I found even more interesting about Bill Bertka. He was a beloved member of the Lakers and of the Buss family who owned the Lakers, and they understood how important Bertka was to the team's success, even if it is not obvious to the casual fan. I mean, how many basketball fans, even diehard basketball fans, can name all of the assistant coaches from their favorite team? But Bertka was special, and he stayed with the Lakers regardless of who was a head coach. Now, you know when an NBA team fires a head coach, all of his assistants are fired with him. I mean, it only makes sense. The team wants to give the new coach latitude in hiring his own staff. The new coach would have a staff of coaches that he is comfortable with and who understand what he is trying to do. And that is all well and good, no issues with that. But every time that the Lakers hired a new coach, Bertka stayed on with the team and then just worked for whoever the new coach was. So whether the coach was Pat Riley, Mike Dunleavy, Del Harris, or Phil Jackson, they were all told that Bertka would be one of the assistants. The new head coach could bring in the rest of the assistant coaches, but Bertka was a permanent assistant coach who answered to ownership. Have you ever heard of that anywhere else in the NBA? How many teams show that kind of loyalty to an assistant coach, that he becomes a permanent assistant coach no matter who the head coach is? Well, I can tell you how many teams do that. One. The Lakers. But in 2001, Bertka left the bench to move into an executive role with the Lakers as a director of scouting, which is kind of the same job that he started with in 1968. Of course, the difference in the job between 1968 and 2001 was practically night and day, with the internet and video scouting and a whole bunch of tools that did not exist when he got started. Today, an NBA scout can pull up almost any play by any player in any situation with just a few clicks. But the value that Bertka brought to the Lakers is still felt today. As I said at the top of the episode, he is still an active member of the Lakers organization at the age of 97. His current title is Special Assistant and Consultant, and he still shows up every year to Lakers training camp to help work with the young players to teach them the ins and outs of NBA basketball. He still loves to be around the players and helping them get better. And if you go back and you talk to some of the Laker greats from years past like Shaq, Derek Fisher, Magic Johnson, Michael Cooper, James Worthy, Kareem, you name it, they all have nothing but good things to say about Bill Bertka. They love that man. And on 3 occasions, he had to fill in as the interim head coach of the Lakers when the regular head coach was fired and before the new head coach could take over. He coached 2 games in 1994 and 1 in 1999. And his official record as an NBA head coach is 2-1. So here's to Bill Bertka. As a fan, it was always comforting to see him on the Lakers bench working with the players even after head coaching changes. He is one of the constants of the Lakers organization. Except for that 6-year break where he was with the Jazz, he has been a Laker since 1968, when he first joined the team, and the stars back then were Wilt Chamberlain, Elgin Baylor, and Jerry West. He was there when Kareem and Magic were the faces of the team, and then it was Shaq and Kobe. And today, it is LeBron James and Luka Doncic. And through it all, Bill Bertka was there. Well, thank you for taking time to hang out with me as we share the story of Bill Bertka, a groundbreaker as the first full-time scout in the NBA. So if anyone ever asks, who was the person who started the idea of scouting in the NBA? It was Bill Bertka. Join us next time when we share another story from basketball history. That's next time on Basketball History 101, part of the Sports History Network, the headquarters of Sports Yesteryear. Go to sportshistorynetwork.com to find out more about this and other sports history podcasts. If you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button wherever you get your podcast. And check out our page on Facebook. It's called Basketball History 101 Podcast. There you will find shorter historical posts, and I'll also announce there when new episodes come out. I want to thank my producer and editor, Jacob Loayza. Join us each week as we continue to mine the history of basketball for more great stories from the past. Take care, and see you soon.
The heel gets the heat. The babyface gets the cheers. But the jobber gets, well, the job done. And speaking of jobbers, Barry Horowitz wasn't there to win titles. He was there to build them. By selling every move, every storyline, and every new star that stepped into the ring. He was the secret sauce. And now, he's the headline in his new book titled, Wrestling is My Gimmick, My Life on the Wrong Side of the 3 Count. This memoir is a deep dive into wrestling's most underrated position, and the man who made it an art form. Whether you're a fan of wrestling, a fan of sports history, or just love a great story, this book is for you. Again, that's Wrestling is My Gimmick by Barry Horowitz. Grab your copy today before the count strikes 3.